welcome to SAT TV's news. I am Shanna Esprit, your presenter. In our top stories, new cases of dengue confirmed in Dominica. St. Lucia police chief sent on required leave. Mugabe delivers Zimbabwe attack on MDC rivals. And in sports, a result of matches played over the weekend in the Youth Nation Cup tournament. Details of these will follow.
Music is life, you don't know. And I'm all set and ready to blow. I got some places out there I wanna see. It's gonna be irate, yeah. So put your hand in the air just for me. I want it up for the world to see. Cause I wanted you and me's a fire. I'll bring the flame. It's gonna be irate, yeah. Boom, this is Mr. Nye, and you're listening and watching SAT Telecoms. Boom!
Welcome back. The 6th Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair 2013 began with a great turnout on Friday, August 9th at the University of the West Indies. This was conducted under the theme, "It is a new society that we must create with the help of our brothers, a society rich with all the productive power of modern times, warm with all the fraternity of olden days." Coordinator of the festival, Alwyn Booley, informed the audience that the festival continues to be part of the emancipation programs.
And now there is a festival that runs for a week and a half celebrating it. A festival which I think is still in its infancy in that there's a lot more that can be done. But this year we were happy, among the various items on the program, to have the unveiling of a statue to the Neg Maroon of Dominica. The runaway slaves, as they were called, or the Maroons. And while everybody is referring to the statue as Bala, I think maybe might have been one of the more prominent of the Maroons, the statue really is in commemoration of all the Maroons and all of them who fought for freedom and made their contribution to the emancipation and to the liberation of the African people and the enslaved African people.
Mr. Booley stated that readers were invited from as far as Africa, Europe, and the Caribbean region, as well as from different parts of the United States. Minister of Education, Honorable Peter Seja, is advising the students to take full advantage of the festival, as he believes that it has great literary values. Festivals such as these complement the efforts in formal education, he stressed.
This festival can count on the continued support of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development and indeed of the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I am pleased to learn that the children's workshop, which was held last Saturday as part of the lead up to this festival, was extremely successful and indeed inspiring. Our students of literature do in fact study the works of great Caribbean writers.
According to the Education Minister, this festival offers the ideal opportunity for one to meet famous writers in person. Several regional writers and guests were on island to participate in the festival. Entertaining presentations, plays, and acts were also included in this year's festival.
Dead or alive? You never know if this trickery is, eh? Up, wake up. Yuck! Anyhow, if it's dead, I'll use his clothes. It's cool. as a covering, as a tent, a shelter. If he's alive, I'll take him back to Europe with me. And then, by golly, my fortune will be made. What a stroke of luck. I'll just settle in there where it's warm. And let the storm rage.
What you get? There's a little wine left in the bottle. Enough to give me the courage.
In more news, 25 students of the All Saints University received their white coats at the 19th White Coat ceremony held on Saturday, August 10th. Dean of the university, Dr. John Clure, said the recipients have now gained the basic knowledge of various clinical mechanisms as well as different forms of medications. He believes the students are better equipped on how to use these forms of medications. According to Dr. Clure, how to obtain patients' histories was one of the most challenging techniques communicated to the students.
And how to examine patients' physical diagnosis. In addition to gaining medical knowledge, you learn about basic principles of epidemiology and community medicine in epidemiology and basic principles of interaction between doctors and their patients and how to deal with various ethical dilemmas in medical ethics. This basic knowledge and skills will help you to make a smooth transition to the next level of your training, which is clinical medicine. You will learn how to diagnose, treat, and manage different medical conditions of patients ranging from newly born to elderly.
Valedictorian Elizabeth O. Tolowinami commended all her staff members, including Registrar of All Saints Dr. David Abiodo, for all their sacrificed time and consistent dedication. Elizabeth explained each professor's contribution and how they all helped her to capture the valedictorian award. The professors at the All Saints University are such veterans. I was able to describe certain formulas in my sleep, she stated.
You are a wonderful professor, Dr. Morebishe, and I pray that the God of heaven would reward you abundantly. Our neuro anatomy was handled by Dr. Pelika, and every second spent in those classes with him was worth it. Genetics was handled by Dr. Prakash and Dr. Aishat. Dr. Aishat, I think she was the sweetest and most pleasant teacher I came across in this institution. The way she works with a roller coaster trolley and packs her hair to the side of her hair every second kind of left an image in my head that would take time to get rid of. She would ask you 1,000,000 times over if you got the lecture, or she'd go back 1,000,000 times over. Dr. Aishat, the memories are really wonderful.
Over the past 2 years, the Minister of Education, Honorable Peter Seja, has had the chance to witness more than 100 students who have participated in this ceremony. In a speech directed to the graduates, Mr. Seja said, and I quote, "I am pleased to be part of this significant milestone in your medical careers as you prepare to equip yourselves with the knowledge and the skills that will make you effective and successful physicians."
The white coat that you will don this evening symbolizes the relationship between the physician and his patient. It is a symbol of trust. This means that you have committed yourself to providing the best possible care for humanity while maintaining your professional integrity and ethics. The path that you take today represents the responsibilities that are about to be handed to you. You are pledging to live a life marked by ethics.
We now go to the presentation of the white coats.
Toluvanemi Elizabeth. Udangwa Ediama. And last but not least, Ujuka Git Ojini.
In other stories, historian and UWI graduate Mr. Cozier Frederick said that during Europe's quest for overseas territory, Dominica had fallen victim to the European system. At a public lecture held on Friday, August 9th, hosted at the Kalinago territory, Mr. Cozier Frederick addressed the panel, highlighting the contributions that the Kalinagos made not only to Dominica but the region.
So when we speak today to the contribution of the Kalinago to the Dominica and to the region, we have to be very careful. Is it truly a Kalinago contribution, or it is something that has been cultured into our present situation? We have to be mindful of this fact. It's an important fact. And when you educate the young people, when you educate the future generation, they must be aware of where we have come from and the struggles we have been through to be here at that point.
Mr. Frederick spoke of July 4th, 1903, when the British government established a portion of land which is now called the Kalinago territory, most of it inaccessible.
When we go for the records, the historical records, we will see that 1930 is the years of uprising in the Caribbean, popular riots, popular labor riots. And nowhere is it written that there was 1950 riots in the Kalinago territory or in Saliga. 1950, September 19, 1950. Some have argued that it was not really a popular riot, but it was more of an uprising about sovereignty. So again, if we talk about contributions of Kalinago to Dominica and to the region, we can safely say, or we can safely propose that the Kalinago have helped to foster some form of allegiance to themselves as a unique people and have pushed forward the project for a sovereign race.
According to Mr. Frederick, the Kalinagos have helped to foster some form of allegiance to themselves as a unique people and have pushed forward for sovereignty mirrored by an Afro-Caribbean population.
We were invaded for what is now spoken about in the Caribbean circles, free movement of people, CSM. My forefathers took a canoe up there, they went to Marigal and to Martinique to go look. They got some passion fruit, some yams, some tanners. They came back with wine, they came back with cheese. They came back with a little rum, a little tobacco. It was cut off. Why was it cut off? And you talk about 70, 80 years later, you're talking about free movement of people, opening up of the ports, and have people moving around the Caribbean freely. That was done already.
He urged that we move away from the petty parties and politics and focus on generating a better economy via talents. The theme for World Indigenous Day was Indigenous people building alliances, honoring treaties, agreements, and other constructive arrangements. In other news, following a report released by the Ministry of Health on Thursday, August 8th, stating there are 7 confirmed cases of dengue in Dominica, and on Monday, August 12, that number increased to 11. The Environmental Health Unit, in collaboration with the National Pest and Termite Control, the Solid Waste Management, as well as the Health Promotion Unit, have launched an emergency dengue plan to combat the outbreak of dengue in Dominica. Chief Environmental Health Officer Mr. Anthony Scotland noted there are 20 suspected cases of dengue under investigation.
These cases are occurring mostly in the Roseau district, particularly in the communities of Goodwill, in Yampis, one in Bath Estate, Newtown, on the other side in Massac, right? And also we are seeing the disease occurring in Cassibus and in Marigot. So we are now intensifying activities to deal with the management of dengue, and that includes education. We are having an education blitz around Dominica, using all the media, your press, your television. We also have National Pest doing using the PA system. They have 2 PAs mounted on trucks moving around the country, stopping at various areas and informing people on the management.
In an effort to get rid of the Aedes aegypti, they have embarked on fogging operations in the areas where the cases of dengue are present. This operation will be conducted in areas including Bath Estate, Canefield, Jimmet, Roseau, and Goodwill, and will continue in other areas. Inspections revealed that an increase of the Aedes aegypti mosquito is as a result of the mosquitoes reproducing in drums that collect water. This has proved to be a nuisance in the fight against dengue. Old tires are also common for the mosquitoes to lay their eggs.
If we have a bad practice of managing these containers, we will continue to promote its perpetuation, the bring of the mosquito. And the mosquito can, when you have, sometimes you have virus circulating within the environment, we can continue to perpetuate the disease. So if we break that cycle of managing the containers properly, that is where the role of the householder comes in. The role of children in the house is also not only so the parents and the children, and sometimes it's a business. It can be because the owner might not be a household, it might be a business creating the problem. They have the responsibility to manage their containers to prevent water from accumulating in them and providing a house for the mosquitoes. Yes, sir. So if we can take that instruction and apply effectively, and we manage our containers, we prevent the mosquito from breeding, then the dengue situation will not be there.
Mr. Scotland revealed the global figures for dengue is a major problem. 2.5 million people worldwide live in areas where the dengue virus is circulating, including Asia, the Pacific Islands, the Caribbean, the Americas, and Africa. For 2013, there have already been 800 cases of dengue, with over 326 dying from the virus in the Americas. Honduras has declared a state of emergency, with countries like Belize, Bolivia, and Nicaragua having serious problems combating the dengue virus. A virus which seriously affects the workforce. Most persons who contract it are unproductive after 9 to 10 days as a result of the constant pain.
So we in the Caribbean, over the years, we have been having battles with dengue. Our biggest outbreak was in 2010. And in 2011 and 2012, we had a reduction. We had over 600 cases in 2010. And we put a lot of measures in place so we can, last year we had just about 50-something cases of dengue, the year before 2011, about 40 something. So we can manage the disease if we manage, as I tell you, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is the vector that spread the disease. In a Dominica situation, you might have mosquitoes biting you, but it might not be Aedes mosquito because you have 24 species of mosquito in Dominica. But the one that you're concerned with is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which can spread dengue to you.
Mr. Scotland is urging all homeowners to ensure they take all the necessary steps to manage their water containers so they do not breed mosquitoes and further contribute to this problem. Other news, the government has embarked on an education process acting on the announcement made by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit that Dominica has begun the process to withdraw from the British system of the Privy Council and establish the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final court of appeal. Minister of Tourism and Legal Affairs Honorable Ian Douglas says once this has been approved, the Privy Council will no longer be Dominica's final court of appeal.
All of the islands of CARICOM have already acceded to the court in its original jurisdiction because the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which establishes CARICOM and the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME, as it is more popularly known, the Caribbean Court of Justice is the final court for interpreting the Treaty of Chaguaramas. So if you have disputes among states of CARICOM, then all of us have already subscribed to the court in its original jurisdiction, and we are actually paying our contribution of $2 million towards the running of the court, and all states have to contribute towards the running of the court. And it was felt that since we are already contributing to the court, why not adopt the court in its both jurisdictions, both in its original jurisdiction and its appellate jurisdiction, and to adopt the court as our final court of appeal.
Thus far, they have visited communities including Cottage and Casa Bruce and will continue with a number of town hall meetings island-wide in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Mr. Douglas noted this education process is very important so Dominicans understand the operations of the CCJ, how they can assess it, and how it will affect them. From the 2 meetings that have already been held, persons in attendance were very responsive and generated a lot of interest in the discussion, he said.
The heads, CARICOM heads, are only involved in the court so far as the president of the court is concerned. And once they appoint the president of the court, then there is nothing else that they can do to interfere with the running of the court. All of the other judges are to be appointed by the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission, which is a broad cross-section of persons or entities from a number of different institutions around the Caribbean, the law schools, the University of the West Indies, the Bar Association of the region, the Association of Accountants. I mean, a number of different entities will make up that Judicial and Legal Services Commission, who are responsible together with the President of the court, who is actually the President of that commission, to appoint the other judges, to appoint their remuneration, to appoint other persons who work with the court.
He is reassuring the public that the court is very isolated, to the point where not even the government can interfere, as far as it relates to monies generated. The minister noted a financial account totaling $100 million has been created with the central bank to generate interest, which will fund the operations of the court.
And so we will go around Dominica explaining in detail the operations of the court, how persons can access the court. And the novel thing about the court is a roving court. So, and they are very, very, very technologically savvy. They can conduct trials in Barbados or in Trinidad using video conferencing right here in Dominica. So clients or persons wishing to access the court doesn't necessarily have to fly across to Trinidad or to Barbados, as opposed to if you had to go to England before the Privy Council. The cost is so exorbitant. You have to buy your plane tickets, you have to that of your lawyers and your attorneys representing you, and even when you get to the Privy Council, you must engage a Queen's Counsel in England for an exorbitant sum, to go and represent you before the Privy Council.
Mr. Douglas noted most of the countries that utilized the Privy Council as their final court of appeal have already established their final courts.
And the Privy Council themselves have indicated in a number of different ways that they would really like us to be able to go off on our own, because appeals from our jurisdiction is taking up too much time and resources of them at the Privy Council. So, and we believe that we have competent judges. We have judges who have from time to time have actually sat on the Privy Council and sat on other international bodies. So we know that we have the competence and the legal minds here who can competently sit on the Caribbean Court of Justice and adjudicate on matters involving CARICOM nationals.
The next consultation will be held in Grand Bay on August 19th at the Grand Bay Community Center from 7 p.m. On August 21st, the consultation will be at the Portsmouth Credit Union Hall, August 26th at the Lapland Agricultural Center, August 28th at the Soufriere Community Center, September 2nd at the Public Service Training Center in Roseau, and on September 9th at the St. Joseph Community Hall. Meetings begin at 7 p.m. and all interested persons are asked to attend in large numbers with their questions and concerns. Other stories: Dominica has realized the potential of developing the island as a wedding destination product and has taken the initiative to showcase various talents and a unique flavor that can be applied to further develop the sector. The second annual bridal fair, which was held at the Windsor Park Stadium on Sunday, August 11th, was a clear indication that Dominicans are serious on their quest to making Dominica one of the best wedding destinations within the Caribbean. Dreamy Weddings representative Tamara Edwin said Dominica, with its natural and scenic beauty, is indeed a best-kept secret for any couple planning a destination wedding.
Dominica should be commended on its achievements to date in doing the following. 1. Reviewing the local industry to understand its strengths and weaknesses. 2. Providing training to its vendors, participants, hoteliers, and wedding planners in the industry. 3. Changes in legislation in making the destination more wedding-friendly. 4. Starting to promote the destination as an ideal wedding and honeymoon location. 5. Improving the local product by hosting bridal fairs such as this one today. And 6. Getting international support like Royal Caribbean to advise and give support to the local destination wedding market.
Ms. Edwin encouraged the Dominican government to refine and develop its product to the needs of the industry. She also pledged her support of Dreamy Weddings both within the private and the public sector to help the island create an enhanced profile for its destination wedding sector. Meanwhile, Valerie Renee Lavier, a representative from the Caribbean Cruise Line, expressed her joy of the progress Dominica has made in the sector thus far.
I'm so happy that now I can actually have my staff offer Dominica as a viable destination for weddings, and then to see all the vendors who are here participating and showing exactly what it is they have to offer, and with all confidence tell them that they will be able to get superb service as well as products from my country. So thank you so very much. We're looking forward to growing this business with you as Royal Caribbean also grows and expand the wedding business.
Mr. Ian Douglas, Minister for Tourism and Legal Affairs, said he is proud to be a part of this initiative.
I am indeed pleased to be part of this growing event and exhort you to appreciate what we have to offer, especially as this contributes to our tourism product. Over the past 4 years, the Discover Dominica Authority have worked tirelessly to develop the wedding and honeymoon niche market. Dominica has reached a major milestone which enables the destination to compete with other leading wedding and honeymoon destinations, not only in the Caribbean, but globally.
According to Mr. Douglas, current trends indicate that destination weddings have evolved from a cost-cutting trend to a booming market with $1 billion wedding industry. It is the minister's hope that this year's bridal fair will trigger more interest in the sector. The Dominica government amended the Marriage Act in February 2012 to allow for greater flexibility, convenience, and expediency of service in acquiring a marriage license. Hoteliers, caterers, boutiques, cake makers, decorators, event planners, photographers, among others, were present with their products and their services on display in uniquely decorated booths. And in court news, 21-year-old Akeem Smith found himself in hot water with the law as he appeared before Roseau Magistrate Evelina Baptist on Monday, August 12th. The young man, who is from the village of Canefield, was slapped with numerous charges following a series of burglaries. It is alleged that between July 14th to July 20th, Smith stole an amplifier valued at $800 and a power mixer console valued at $2,400, the property of the Canefield Victory Baptist Church. The defendant pled not guilty to theft, but pleaded guilty to the charge of handling stolen goods. He was fined $2,000 to be paid by November 30th, 2013, or in default spend to 1 year and 3 months imprisonment. The charge of theft, however, was withdrawn after he pled guilty to handling stolen goods. It is alleged the amplifier, which was not recovered, was sold to Cashui's pawn shop located in Roseau. In another matter, it is alleged that on August 8th, he stole items amounting to $2,089.50 from the property of Edith Gabriel of Canefield. He was once again charged with theft and pled guilty. Smith was fined $1,750 to be paid by December 31st, or in default sentenced to 1 year imprisonment. The defendant was also ordered to pay by way of compensation $135 by the above-mentioned date, or in default sentenced to 3 weeks imprisonment for an earring that was not recovered. In another incident, Smith was also charged with burglary. It is alleged that between July 24th to 31st, he entered a dwelling house in Canefield and stole 1 DVD player, a Reebok sneaker, and 1 remote control, totaling $625. He pled not guilty. However, Prosecutor Inspector Claude Wicks objected to bail on the grounds that Smith is under investigation for similar matters, and if granted bail would interfere with their investigations. Bail was denied, and the trial is expected to begin on November 25th, 2013. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.